Hey everyone! Today we're diving into a huge shift that's happening in the world of travel. And it all really starts with a simple question. When you travel, are you a tourist or are you a traveler? We're going to dig into the new trends that are shaping the entire tourism industry and explore the amazing new kind of education that's training leaders to manage this incredible change. So let's start there. Which one are you? You know, the classic tourist is often looking for a package solution, a checklist of sights to see, an organized tour. But the traveler, well, the traveler embraces the unknown. They're looking for real, genuine exploration. Now, this isn't just some philosophical debate. It's the core idea that's driving a massive transformation in how we all think about travel.
And this big shift, this move away from the simple checklist and towards something more meaningful, is actually creating 5 major trends that are completely reshaping the industry. Let's break them down.
First up, domestic tourism. Let's be honest, the pandemic kind of forced a lot of us to look in our own backyards for adventure. And you know what? We discovered some pretty amazing things. People are now actively rediscovering the incredible culture, food, and landscapes right where they live, which is a fantastic boost for local economies.
Next, we have wellness tourism, and this is way more than just a spa day. This is about traveling with the specific goal of improving your health. We're talking about destinations built around things like thermal spas or meditation retreats, where the whole experience is designed to rejuvenate you physically and mentally. It's basically travel as an investment in yourself.
Third on the list, gastronomic tourism. This is where food isn't just fuel for the trip. The food is the trip. People are planning whole journeys around local cuisine, using food and wine as this incredible lens to understand a place's culture and its history. So think less about just fancy restaurants and more about, say, learning to make pasta from a nonna in Italy. It's such a delicious way to connect.
And that leads us perfectly to experiential tourism. This is all about trading in passive sightseeing for active story doing. People want to create memories, to be a part of something, and maybe even learn a little about themselves along the way. It's the difference between seeing a postcard of a hot air balloon and actually being in one, floating over the landscape. Finally, and this one is arguably the most important, we have sustainable tourism. This is a direct answer to the very real problems of over-tourism. It's about fundamentally changing the relationship between the visitor and the destination. The goal is to connect with a place on a deep level while also protecting its environment, respecting its culture, and supporting the local community. It's about making sure these amazing places stay amazing for everyone. Okay, so we've got all these new, more complex desires, right? We want travel that's local, healing, delicious, transformative, and responsible. That's a pretty tall order. Which brings up a really important question. Who's actually going to build and manage these kinds of experiences? Who's going to lead the industry through this transition?
And that, my friends, brings us to the solution. A whole new way of thinking about education is popping up, designed specifically to create the leaders that this new era of tourism desperately needs.
This is where a program like the Masters in Management of Transitions, or MDT, comes into play. And this is not your typical tourism degree. It's designed from the ground up to train professionals who can work right at the intersection of society, the environment, and the economy, managing those tricky challenges where all three overlap.
This quote really gets to the heart of it. The whole idea is to think about how these environmental, societal, and economic problems all converge, how they all connect. Because you can't have a successful tourism project that wrecks the local environment, right? And you can't have a sustainable project that isn't also economically viable. It's about understanding that it's all connected.
So what does that actually look like in the classroom? What are these students really learning? Let's take a peek at what's at the heart of this program.
And check this out. This is where it all clicks into place. You can see the direct line between what the market wants and what's being taught. For sustainable tourism, students are learning impact analysis and eco-certification. For experiential tourism, they're studying experience design. For gastronomic tourism, they're focused on valuing local heritage. The program is built to directly answer the call of these new trends.
The key takeaway here is the practical toolkit these graduates walk away with. They're learning how to analyze entire ecosystems and how to manage really complex change. They're also learning how to lead projects that bring lots of different people and their knowledge together, something called collective intelligence. These aren't just buzzwords. These are the essential skills for leading today.
Building that toolkit starts with a really strong foundation. 440 hours of in-center instruction, covering all the core theories and management fundamentals they need to get a handle on these complex systems. But, and this is so important, it's not all about theory. That classroom time is backed up by 560 hours of real-world, in-company experience through mandatory internships. This is what makes sure that graduates are not just academically smart, but are professionally ready to make a real impact from day one.
So what's the end result of all this? What kind of professional does this new model create? Well, it's a new kind of leader ready for a whole range of modern roles.
And you can really see the results in the kinds of careers these graduates are building. They aren't just becoming hotel managers. They're taking on jobs like eco-certification specialists, sustainable destination consultants, and community project leaders. They are literally becoming the architects of a smarter, more responsible future for travel. When you boil it all down, the ultimate goal is to create more than just a manager. It's to produce a facilitator, a leader who is comfortable with complexity, who knows how to bring different people to the table, and who can genuinely drive the positive change the tourism industry needs.
And that brings us right back to you. Now that you know where travel is heading, the final question is one to think about for yourself. Will your next trip be just a simple visit? Or will it be an opportunity for a real, meaningful transition, both for the place you visit and for you?